Good morning. Welcome to Bread for Our Youth Ministries Incorporated. I am Elder McQueen, Coach Mac, Mr. McQueen. Today, I'm going to begin probably 3 parts. The first part of maybe 2 or 3 parts of our new lesson. The lesson we're going to start today is entitled, Young Women, You Must Wake Up and Step Up. Young women, you must wake up and step up. I want to give you a list of scriptures right now that we're going to go over. The scriptures that we are going to go over today is going to be from Proverbs chapter 31 verse 10, John 10:10, Proverbs 3 and 6, Psalms 27 and 14, Romans chapter 10 verse 17, Revelation chapter 3 verse 20, 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 19 and 20, Proverbs chapter 23 verse 12, St. Matthew's chapter 5 verse 16, Philippians chapter 4 verse 6 and 7, Psalms chapter 119 verse 105, Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2, Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, and Proverbs chapter 15 verse 19. Those are the scriptures that we're going to cover all throughout the lesson. Now this topic here I'm going to talk about today, about young women need to step up, need to wake up and step up, is very important because young women, you are a very important part of our society. Going to be a very important part of the church. And I know I'm probably talking to young women who are young women who have devoted themselves to Christ, and some who have not. You can both watch the video, and you can all learn something from it. But I hope and pray that if you are not saved, after you watch the video, that we'll give the invitation to be saved. Now, we're going to talk about some things here, and like I said, we're going to take it pretty slow. I'm going to talk about some very key things here that affect you as a young woman. Media. First thing I'm talking about is the media. The media can be very negative, very negative effects on you as a young person, especially when the media paints a gloomy forecast for the future of young women of all races, young women of black women, Mexican women, whatever. Our media prints a lot of gloomy pictures for African Americans, unfortunately, African American youth, and for many of our young women in our country, and women in general in our country. However, the good news is you don't have to fall for it. God has a plan. You must trust and act on faith. God has a plan for you, young women, young lady, sister. God has a plan for you. And even though the media, there are different forms of media that exploit women, you don't have to give into it. In order for you to, as a young woman, to want someone to give you respect, you must learn some of the principles of self-respect. In other words, you have to earn self-respect. It's not just given to you. Now you can be as a woman, young lady, you can have self-respect, and then you can lose it by giving it up freely. But then you got to work that much harder to get it back. Perhaps that's what some of you young ladies are at. Perhaps you've dropped your standards and now you find yourself doing things that you know you're not comfortable doing, you shouldn't be doing, and now that's the indication that you need to make a turn, a change. And I really believe, now I'm going to do a video number 2, a second video. Later on I'm going to do a video, say, when will young men step up? Well, I'm going to answer that one question right now. When young men will begin to step up when they see that young women like you are not willing to settle for just anything. Then they'll understand, then the pressure will come on, and they realize they need to step up. Now, even though the pressure being placed on them to step up, it's all going to help to make young men better citizens, better people, better, hopefully one day, better fathers as well. Now let's talk about music. Music is just another form of media, actually. What some youths fail to realize, it is not really the music that sends a message. The message is in the lyrics. The more you listen to the message, the more influence it has over you. Many African-American youth are being robbed due to negative influence from different type of lyrics, such as the hip-hop lyrics, okay? Young people, you may try to rationalize in your mind why hip-hop artists will create such dirty, filthy, degrading, and violent songs. You may try to, as a young lady, rationalize why these black African-American hip-hop artists will write all these songs with all these dirty lyrics, okay, that have to do with sex and calling you different names. You may try to rationalize it because you want to listen to it. The fact of the matter is, you may not be able to actually pull yourself away from it. You may have become addicted to, just like a drug, you may have become addicted to listening to music that in fact controls you. Adolf Hitler made a statement, that's a popular statement, and it was that if you tell a lie and you get people to listen to it long enough, then they'll begin to leave the lie. The more you begin to listen to music that degrades you, okay, that just downright disrespects you, the more you begin to listen to that, the more you become just like that. And you have to make a decision that if you're listening to music, or you're reading magazines, or you're watching things on the internet, okay, that are just devastating to your soul, you got to make a decision, young lady, that you need to come out of it. You may not be able to come out by yourself. You may need someone to pray for you. You may need to stay away from the computer, from the iPod for a while. Whatever it takes for you, just like a drug, whatever the addiction is, you're going to need help, and you need to understand that. Many African Americans youth are being robbed due to the negative influence of hip hop. Okay? Now, I'm going to pose this question to you. Young people, here's some good food for thought. Do you think these hip hop artists that are writing this stuff really care about African American women and African American men? The answer is no. The driving force behind all these songs is money. The industry makes money, and the industry makes money off of those of you that buy this mess. So the power that you as a young woman has a lot of power just by not buying it and listening to it. Is power in itself. You have got to understand that God has placed in you, young lady, God has placed in you the ability to do great things in life, and Satan wants to rob you. So, when you listen to music, or let's say lyrics, or you go on the internet and listen to inappropriate things, you know, that just degrade you and call you names, and you continue to listen to all these things, right? You're feeding your flesh. And the more and more you do it, the less self-respect you have for yourself. And it can also get to the point that you begin to actually dislike who you are. Because you can't put just anything inside of you and expect it not to affect you. You have to give it some good thought, young ladies. When you're watching this video, be very open-minded. Now, next question I'm asking you just a little bit about the hip hop stuff. When you listen to this stuff, does it promote young African Americans going to school and trying to better educate themselves? The answer is no. It promotes it promotes things like violence, degrades women with children, single women with several children. They make jokes about them and degrade people like that, call women different names. It's an attempt to get you in such a state of mind where you as a woman, you feel real low, where self-esteem is pretty much at bottom rock zero, and then any man out in the street can take advantage of you. So you got to learn to fight back. You got to wake up, young lady. You must wake up now before it's too late and learn to fight back. If you are a young woman, tired of seeing young men behaving like idiots, walking around showing their underwear, sagging their pants, many that don't want to work, they come around using foul language, don't show any respect for you, not for themselves, and they're always trying to get something from nothing, then it's time for you to step up and raise your standards. When you as a young woman begin to step up and raise your standards, then this young man have no choice but begin to raise their standards or get out of Dodge. What do you mean by get out of Dodge? Well, get out of Dodge basically means that you don't want anything to do with them. It means that you might say hi to them, bye to them, but that's about it. Because you're not going to throw away your life because someone who don't want to do anything with their life. And that's cutting you out. Let's talk about church for a second. When we look at the direction many churches are going in today, there are some very serious questions. Among them is, what is the church doing to help young people? What are the church priorities? The younger generation seems to be made up of a generation of some young people who want to do something but just don't know how to get there. And then a generation of people who seem content with living the thug life. Not only do they want to live the thug life, but they want to put as many people into the thug life as them. Now, and I say again, hip-hop music seems to be poisoning the mind of many young men and women, and it's a damaging effect. Appears to be a much more damaging effect on the young Afro-American men and women. One of the things I've noticed when I was in the school system for many years, and also coaching sports, is that many of our young women have become more assertive. They were very physical in playing sports, and very physical when it comes to defending themselves. So many of young women know how to fight physically, know how to defend themselves. But the problem is, if you don't know, are you not very skillful in how to fight spiritually? You're fighting a spiritual warfare, not a physical confrontation. It's a spiritual warfare, things you can't see. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12 supports what I just said. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood," not something you can see, young sister, "but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." In other words, Satan has no respect of persons. Satan is out to destroy everyone he can. He wants to destroy you as a young woman. He wants to wreck your life right now. He wants you to think that there's no hope for you. He wants you to believe that you have to settle for the first bum to come along, but that's not true. God has a plan for you, and it's very important for you to believe that. And I'll talk to you again in part 2.